of us are only just graduating college. Some of us are just graduating high school. And I think, I don't know, what's the youngest for Gen Z?
No, I don't really know.
Some of them maybe, I can't remember, but maybe some of them are just starting high school or maybe just finishing middle school. So it's a lot to just put on the shoulders of us as we are right now. And I think we can be an improvement, we can be a change, we can be what's needed. Like I said, when it comes to society, when it comes to the earth, I think we're on our way to making a lot of changes that are needed to help improve our future. But I can't say we are the improvement. Maybe that's a generation that hasn't even come yet that fully fixes what the world has become. We can't really tell. It's really like an open ending or like an open book.
Like there's some things that maybe like we need to learn from the old generations, just like in some way, shape, or form probably. But at the same time, I feel like since you could say the new generations are like a new generation, I guess you could say it's fresh. Like
we're a blank page,
yeah. So,
but also you don't want to be a blank page that forgets the book it came from. Because I think there's a saying that's like, those who forget history are doomed to repeat it, and there's a lot of history you don't want to repeat. So it's better that we always remember where we came from while still being an open blank canvas that evolves, like Joanne said.
Yeah.
That is always willing to take on fresh paint to make a beautiful picture.
Okay. So for anyone listening who has been stuck in a rut and they're on the verge of giving up, what encouragement would you give them?
Be patient.
I feel like so many times it's felt like we were never going to get out of the situation. Like this is the end, or we're always going to be stuck in just terrible, never-ending period of our lives. And it's just like, I don't think we've gone, well, maybe some of us, but I haven't fully gotten to the point where I'm just like, okay, I'm just going to give up. But I understand why so many people would get there. I've been to the point where I'd be like, you know what, I can understand why people have gotten to this point where they just feel like giving up. And then it's like sometimes it's just like as soon as getting to that point, something happens. So maybe you feel like this is really just your last day, your last hour, your last minute. But maybe just try to push it for another minute, another hour, another day, because maybe that next hour will be the point that truly changes your life. For the better, for like in the most fulfilling way. So just don't give up. Even if you want to, even if it feels like it's the only thing you have left to do, just don't give up. I know it's a lot easier said than done, but just try. Even if it's just another second, try.
I feel like eventually, if you don't know, or you don't really necessarily know that you're going to make a change or you're gonna make it, but just believe that you will, because and imagine you end up actually making it. Would you want to have been the character that was always sobbing or just making excuses or complaining, or being the character that always believed and then
actually got there? Like, I guess you could say, or if you want to be the cannon fodder or the successful character.
Okay.
Do you want to be a success story or a sad ending?
Beautiful. How do you cope with the changes?
I think just taking each moment one by one, or really just letting it kind of just happen and then making my way through it, and then just, I don't know, it's kind of hard. Like, I think I'm pretty adaptable to most situations, most things, but maybe it's because I don't really put it too much on myself. I'm just accepting the situations. Only when it gets to a point where it's just like, what the heck is happening? That's when I probably panic. But like, depends on the change, I guess. If it's like a really hard change, then yeah, I'll panic at first. But the next thing would have to be, how do I get out of this? What's the next thing I can do to save myself or the people around me? And if it's like a good change or a change I'm not really sure of yet, then I just have to just let it happen and then see how I feel, see how it happens. I can't really explain it. It's just like I don't know.
You just have to trust
the process. Maybe?
Trust the process. Okay. Do you feel pressured by society?
Yeah. I feel like even to like try to make a channel like this where everything's not filtered or just like you know, not raw.
You have to be constantly being careful of what you're saying, or you know, even when you
Even
guys
like this, the way you stand, you probably gotta like
be mindful.
yeah, of just because how you know.
Society is.
And I mean, I guess that's one of the improvements that you could say that the next generation is kind of coming with, and I guess it's being less.
Not fully
judgmental.
caring about too much. Not caring too much about what everyone else thinks. Like, of course, we still care. We still care how people think we look or how people think we act. It's kind of a natural thing, but it really shouldn't be natural. We should really just be able to be ourselves. If you want to sit a certain way or feel a certain way or act a certain way, like, I mean, as long as you're not hurting anybody, as long as you're not hurting yourself, I think, why does it matter if you're this size or if you're this, if you have this quirk or if you talk this way or if you dress this way? Like, why does it matter so much? But it's hard to break out of the fact that society already has you feeling that way. So maybe that's something we can change in the future. Maybe that's something we'll change naturally.
Or maybe something you can change right now by being that voice, by just, you know,
I've seen a lot of content creators, both on different social media platforms, that are trying to be like that are trying to help people accept themselves or be accepting of others, like when it comes to size-wise, when it comes to dressing-wise, and helping people realize that you need to stop judging others, especially considering you're not perfect yourself, but also you don't really need to be perfect. Just be you.
The environment that you come from, like
that doesn't have to shape who you are.
so like your accent, or if you have this passport or this civilization or whatever. It's like none of it really matters at the end of the day, right? So we all breathe, we all sleep, we all eat, we all drink. So if whether I'm born in the US, if I'm born in Africa, it's not gonna change the way I do things, right? I mean, I guess
change the fact that we're human.
So
At the end of the day, we're human.
Wow, beautiful. How has your parents been of support to your development?
Well, I think you guys have always tried to accept us for any way we come. Whether we're coming mean, you wouldn't let us be rude to anybody, but you'd try to come from a place of understanding that maybe we're being this way because of something that's happened or because of something we're feeling. If we're coming as someone who's into before we started showing you more about anime and stuff, you didn't know what that was. But you didn't say, oh, that's just a weird kid's thing, or oh, you don't really need to watch that, it's unnecessary, watch this or watch that instead. You and Daddy both were always just let us do or like what we like. If we wanted to dress, if I wanted to be just a girly girl, or if I just want to be casual and comfy, when it comes to Paige, you didn't try to force her to be a girly girl. You let her be the tomboy when she was younger, and now that she's decided she prefers to dress more girly, you don't try to say, oh, what about this time or that time? You let her be who she is. I remember Daddy really just didn't care when it comes to what we wanted to do. Not like in a way that he didn't have an interest, but he didn't try to force us to be a certain way. And you always told us that if we want to be a doctor, if we want to be an actor, if we want to be an artist, that you'd just be happy with us being who we are. So that's something, I think that's helped us breathe easier. We haven't had to deal with you guys being strict on us. Like, it's not like you let us be loose or anything. You don't let us just go and do whatever we want. And you also make sure we're being safe. But mine is that you don't try to force us to be anything.
I feel like you guys are both, like, you're sometimes strict and sometimes, I guess you could say,
Cool.
loose.
Not loose, more accepting, you know?
Not loose. When I say loose, like,
The opposite of strict.
yeah, I guess, whatever. But you're definitely the less judgmental parent. And
Because Daddy does sometimes say, "Nah, you guys gotta be doctors." Even if it's in more in a joking way, I think he'd be happy if all of us were to turn out to be doctors. But at the same time, it's not like anything he's trying to force you. And you're like, I don't care what you guys want to be. Just be you.
Just be human. You consider yourselves fortunate.
Yes.
And could you explain why you think so?
Well, first things first, we're healthy. On both sides of our family, I think. I know there's diabetes. Was one of the main things on both sides. Is it on Daddy's side too?
Yes.
Yeah. So far, knock on wood, none of us have that. That's one of the things I'm grateful for most times. I actually deeply think about it. None of us have that, and like, another thing is that we've had a lot of experiences, both like how there's lower class and middle class and higher class. I wouldn't say any of those specific categories, but we've experienced having a lot of money. We've experienced not having a lot of money. We've experienced just being in between. So we've got to experience all different types. We know what it's like as all those different situations. But thankfully, we haven't been to the point of no return. We have each other. Like all of our siblings. Mine is our older sister who lives by herself with her kids, but even then we're still in contact with her. We're still pretty close. Some families don't have that. We have both our parents, and again, like all of our siblings. We have aunts and uncles. A lot of families some people can't even say they have any of those things.
You have support system, so makes you very fortunate.
Very fortunate.
Yes, and you guys are grounded too. Like you just stated that you've had and seen so many things. You've had a lot. You've also been humbled a few times, and yet still you guys have kept your personalities, and been really great kids. So it's nice that you think that you're fortunate. How about you, Javon?
I agree.
Okay, good. If you could change anything about yourself, what would that be? Javon?
Nothing.
I don't think I'd change much. Maybe except making myself taller, because Micah's almost the same height as me, and that's annoying. And Javon's grown past me, and that's annoying. First of all, I'm the oldest or second oldest. I don't know why they have to be taller than me. I was the tallest for like how many years, and now all of a sudden I have to be looking just a little bit up. Come on now. And Micah's younger than me by 4 years, and he's like almost here. That's not fair.
You're so melodramatic. So what do you say, Jamal? You say nothing, which is a very...
I change anything when I don't know what my future self has. So, yeah.
That's great. It's beautiful.
I have interest in maybe becoming a model. Not runway model, but like, I guess photo shoot model. And I think my features are nice. Like, I know some people might not agree. That's their opinion. Whatever. But I think I have pretty good features. Maybe I could get there one day.
There go my daughter. That's beautiful. What are your thoughts about evolution? Or, evolution of technology?
I think every time I actually think about it too much, I have to say I'm pretty impressed with how much we've developed, or how many things us as humankind have created. Like, TV is still kind of like, I'm good with tech in just the basic level of understanding of like phones and stuff, but I don't even understand how it's created or what goes into making it, and it's just impressive that something like that exists. Whenever I actually start thinking about it, my mind gets a bit. And even the TVs. One time I was thinking about microwaves and how they work, and I was like, what the hell? How did we even create something like that? So all that stuff kind of interests me and just makes me impressed with us as humankind.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow.
What about you, Javon?
Not really light so much, but like in a way still.
Yeah.
It makes me intrigued about what we can create, like in the future. Just with even more advanced. But I'm grateful for what we have right now.
Like, I know before, in the past, we used to think about flying cars in the future. I think that could exist, actually. Considering airplanes exist and cars exist, maybe there could be a cool creation that somehow makes it exist. But even the fact that planes exist, like the fact that that's something we can actually fly